Let's move on to the next fight. This is the main card now that we're talking about, and it just gets better. We got a light heavyweight scrap here between Thiago Santos against Aleksandar Rakic. This is the moment of truth for Aleksandar Rakic to go out there and put a name like Thiago Santos on his belt, and I feel like he's going to be successful in doing so. Now, I think the fact that's going to stun a lot of people or surprise a lot of people is that Thiago Santos is 37 years old, and it feels like he's like a young, spry, up-and-coming guy in the light heavyweight division, especially since he just fought Jon Jones not too long ago. But that's because he's been around the game for so goddamn long, and was spending a lot of his time at middleweight, where he was just a middling middleweight. But he comes up to light heavyweight, gets a good luck of the draw in some of his matchups, gets the win. The Jan Blachowicz one, I'll give to him. That was a very solid knockout victory that he had there. But then goes into that Jon Jones fight, and now everybody's like, "Oh my God, look at Thiago Santos having such a close fight with Jon Jones on 2 torn knees." And then since then, came back, lost to Glover Teixeira. But let's quickly go over all of the last 4 opponents of Jon Jones since fighting Jon Jones. 2-6. 2-6. The only 2 wins. Mr. Anthony Smith beating Alexander Gustafsson, and then Anthony Smith most recently beating Devin Clark. So not the best resume as of late, but people continue to use that as a reason to back guys like Thiago Santos, to back guys like Dominic Reyes and Anthony Smith. But you have to look at it like how they're looking now. And Thiago Santos, coming off of those torn ACLs, did not look good in the Glover Teixeira fight. It truly showed in that fight that he just couldn't, like his kicking game was very much diminished compared to what we've seen in the past. And albeit that fight was on the feet or on the ground with, Thiago Santos with his back on the ground for the majority of it. And now in this fight against Aleksandar Rakic, he's going up against a much better striker than Glover Teixeira, a guy that will definitely be the stronger guy in the cage, in my opinion, in Rakic. That guy is a big, big dude for this weight class, and obviously very powerful. His top control, his top game is very crushing as well too. I think he has all the talent in the world to go out there and be a 205-pound champion even today. The only real knock you can give on this guy is obviously his very close fight against Volkan Oezdemir. Could have gone either way. I'm not going to call it a robbery or anything like that, but we did see some good stuff from Volkan there, using that calf kick and trying to slow down Rakic. But the only other thing we can bang on him for is getting dropped twice by Devin Clark at the beginning of their fight. But after that, shows great awareness, shows great durability, comes back and knocks the fuck out of Devin Clark himself. So I like what we see from Rakic. I like his... I like to go back to that Justin Ledet fight where and again, Justin Ledet, not the greatest of opponents, don't get me wrong, but what we saw from Rakic that night reminded me of like prime Cain Velasquez, where you get great striking mixed in with takedowns and just complete domination from pillar to post. I believe he scored that fight like 30-24 all around. The guy has skills everywhere. So I think he will be successful in closing the distance here against Thiago Santos. He will be successful in getting this fight to the ground, riding out that top position, and just accumulating the minutes. We know he's not shy to make it a boring fight, just like that Anthony Smith fight where he kicked his calves off within 2 minutes of this fight, yet still decided to go out there and just lay and pray. Not just lay and pray. He stayed active enough where the referee didn't actually stand him up. But I can see him doing the same thing here against Santos to nullify that power that's going to be coming back his way. So I don't think that Santos truly has it anymore, at least not to compete at this level of competition. And I think Aleksandar Rakic is at that point to go out there and continuously take this guy down, maybe go the Glover route here. I think Glover has a better top game and obviously much better jiu-jitsu, but Rakic is just so damn strong. I find it hard to believe that Santos will be able to deal with that grappling onslaught, and then the better striking that we should be getting from Rakic as well would definitely help him out here too. And what if he starts targeting that calf like he did against Anthony Smith as well too? That guy, Santos, has like nothing between his knees right now, right? Like the guy has like no cartilage in his ACL. The guy is just walking on bone right now. So I think it's going to be very difficult for Santos to get the W here. It's a Hail Mary or nothing for him. I think if he gets a knockout, that's his only path to victory here. But I think that we see Rakic continues to get this fight to the ground and grind out a decision victory. So in terms of props, we got Rakic share via decision at plus 230. A lot of people are going to expect this fight to be a barn burner. But when you're Aleksandar Rakic, just knocking on the door of that top 3, you're not going to risk this fight to make it a barn burner. You're going to make it as safe as possible. Take this to the ground. Let's get a decision victory, baby. Plus 230, not too bad. Minus 155 on the money line is not too bad either for what we're getting in Aleksandar Rakic. So yeah, I like Rakic here if you clearly can't tell, and I like him to win via decision. How are you seeing this one?
Yeah, so as far as a prop in this fight goes, I like the over 1.5 at minus 145. Yep. Aleksandar Rakic is not really big on finishes. He's one of these guys that likes to take his time, slow down the action, but his 2 weapons are just slow down the action moves, right? He loves the calf kick, loves the leg kick, tries to demobilize you a little bit, and then he likes to mix in a little takedown here and there. but his wrestling's not very good. He has something like a 28% takedown accuracy, and really a guy that's known for his wrestling. He likes to mix in the wrestling. He likes to, use that top control, but he also just likes ticking time off the clock. Thiago Santos, meanwhile, it's like, oh man, Thiago Santos is not an under 1.5 kind of guy. But in fact, he kind of is, right? If he goes out in there and loses the fight, he's durable enough to bank you some rounds. I mean, you've seen that in the Glover fight where he makes it to the third and he was taking a lot of damage there. The John Jones fight, he goes 5 rounds with the dirty goat, right? But also the Jan Blachowicz fight, 3rd round knockout, and it was a win. Jimmy Manuwa, 2nd round. Eric Anders quit on a stool after the round, but it was like, it's still 3 rounds of a hellacious beating. Kevin Holland fight goes the distance. So even when he's winning fights, I mean, he's not really, at least in his later years, a 1st round knockout guy. He's more so just like at some point you start to get a little bit tired. He hits you with that good shot. He puts you down. But yeah, he's 37 years old. Both of his knees were blown out against John Jones. Massive surgery, comes back, year-long layoff, takes a bad fight stylistically, really, for him, and Glover Teixeira, the old man that just won't go away. And even then, still on 2 compromised knees with all the ring rust, not looking good, did not look good in that fight. We were all on the same page. We faded him huge.
Yeah.
It's like, bro, that 1st round was dicey. He had him hurt. That 3rd round was dicey. He had him hurt. He does have a ton of power. He's always going to be a live dog, and I would consider him this card to be a live dog. But again, if he does knock out Aleksandar Rakic, I would think it comes in the later half of the 2nd round or the 3rd round, and then you'd hit that over 1.5. If Rakic goes out there and takes him down, manages to take him down, that's the easiest path to victory. So stand with this dude, take him down. If he does manage to take him down and ride him the way we've seen Glover easily ride him, then yeah, okay, again, we're going to hit those over. So the over 1.5 at -145, I thought that was the best play. But as far as the pick on the fight goes, I think I'm going to go with Thiago Santos, and a lot of it's more so just like a feeling, right? A feeling. Fighting John Jones, it was a good fight for him, right? It was a split decision. I thought he lost, but I thought he lost 4-1 pretty convincingly. But again, same way that when Jones beat Gus the first time, people like to shit on him and think he lost. But Santos at least gave a good account of himself. He's swinging bombs. He's at least trying to make it an entertaining fight. It just doesn't work out. The layoff, the injury, the age, that all screams disaster. And it was disastrous against Glover. But hearing him talk, he's very much like, man, I knew that was going to happen in the Glover fight. I wasn't ready. I wasn't feeling good. The weight cut was hard because I couldn't run because of the knees and this and that. And now you see him just like totally different character, just like feels good. Really looking forward to this fight. My body feels great. My knees are finally feeling good. And so he's, I think they just got married, but anyways, he's engaged to Yana Kunikeya.
Yeah, they're engaged.
You see her come over to American Top Team, and whether you thought Ketlin Vieira won that fight, which she didn't, that was a Yana win. Yana came in looking in great shape. She's not exactly young herself, but I mean, she's made the move to ATT. She's in good shape. She was motivated. She was confident. She went out there. She cashed the dog ticket. Thiago Santos, he's motivated. I'd like to say he's in good shape, but I couldn't honestly tell you. I think that your knees are always going to be compromised. I don't think you go through those type of injuries and come back a new man, especially at 37. But yeah, he's got variables here, and that Rakic needs to sprinkle in the wrestling, and I don't think his wrestling is good enough to take down Santos. If the fight does hit the ground, Santos is actually Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt, so one figures he wouldn't be completely out of. I know it sounds crazy.
Levels to the shit when it comes to black belts, you know that.
Well, dude, I mean, Glover's a black belt, and you saw what black belt and black belt looks like on the ground. It's like
40-year-old black belt against a 36-year-old at the time, but. You're right.
I've always said it. It's a Brazil thing. You turn 16, they're like, here's your driver's license, and here is your Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt.
Thank you. Have a good day.
Yeah, thank you. Have a good day. And some people's like, man, they're not a real black belt. It's like, right, but they turn 16 in Brazil, right? That's kind of
like their bar mitzvah, pretty much.
Yeah, this guy is a banger. He's always been a banger. He does have a questionable chin. I mean, Gegard Mousasi knocked him out with like a light punch, but Dave Branch knocked him out bad, and it was like, oh man. And then you see him take an absolute beating against Glover and go 5 rounds against Jones. Like, is he chinny? Is he not chinny? The Eric Spicely fight, does he have a ground game? Does he have a decent ground game? It's all question marks, but I love Rakic in that he's Slavic. I go for all my Slavic brethrens, right? I would never disrespect the guy. I think he's got past the victory. I think with the leg kick, mixing in a few takedowns, being faster, being younger, having better cardio. But Thiago Santos is a live underdog. Learned a lot on these spots every week where it's like, I just don't quite pull the trigger underdog. I make good points for why they could come through, why they should come through, but I just don't really want to bet it myself. So again, I take a pass on this fight, but it's so fun and exciting, such a nice fun. I'm going to want a little action on it. So I'll take that over 1.5. And I think officially I'm going to swing with the dog play, Thiago Santos.
All right, we finally got a little bit of disagreement here, ever so slightly. Again, you're not running to the betting window to bet Thiago Santos here, but yeah, I'm glad that we got a little bit of a disagreement. All right, we got over 300, close to 400 people in the chat right now. Make sure you guys hit that like already. We only have 112 likes. How is that possible? If you guys are enjoying yourself, make sure you guys hit that like. That definitely helps your boys out, and obviously lets the odds crew know that you guys enjoy watching us every Thursday evening at 8 p.m.